Dear speakers, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I'd like to express my gratitude to Hinano Tiawe Murphy and Peter Thompson for sharing their expertise and perspectives on the connection between oceans, culture, and human well-being. It's an honor for me to be part of this conversation. I have traveled from the Maldives to be here with you today. My country is halfway around the world from Canada, and the geography is completely different as well. It is made up of 1,100 islands scattered across 19 atolls in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Some people call us a small island state, but I prefer to call us a big ocean state. Our territory is the size of England, but is 99% water. Charles Darwin first came up with the theory of how our islands formed, and his theory still holds. As ancient volcanoes slowly sunk into the sea, coral reefs formed around their edges, creating the atolls and the islands that we live on today. All of our islands exist because of these coral reefs that made them. And the reefs still protect our islands today, forming natural seawall around each island and providing the fish and seafood that sustain us. In addition to the unique geography of our country that is 99% water and made up of over 1,000 islands scattered across the vast sea, the Maldives is also notable because it is essentially alive. It is one giant live ecosystem of animals, the corals, and humans, as well as other marine life, live in symbiotic relationship with these coral ecosystems. We're a nation of people living on top of the living, breathing animals that sustain us. But this also makes us extremely vulnerable and fragile, because if the corals die, the Maldives dies. Our beaches will erode, our islands will wash away into the sea. We won't have any fish, and we won't be able to make a living from the tourists who come to lie on our beaches and explore our underwater gardens. Our unique geography, I like to think, makes Maldives more attuned to the natural world. We grow up playing on the beach, swimming in the sea, snorkeling around the reefs, and traveling by boats. We understand that our country is beautiful. And like all beautiful things, it is also extremely fragile. I'm very worried about climate change. I'm worried because I'm also the environment minister. It is my job to be worried about such things. But I'm also worried because I'm also a mother, and it breaks my heart to think my little daughter may not be able to enjoy all the wonders of nature as I have. Greenhouse gas emissions are heating up the sea, making the water hotter, which is killing the coral reefs. The animals on whose backs we live are being boiled to death. We try our hardest to advocate for stronger climate action. I was recently at the UN climate talks in Egypt and the talks in Glasgow the year before as well. We made some progress on bending the arc on the global emissions curve downwards. And we set up a proper compensation fund for low-emission countries like the Maldives who haven't caused the climate crisis but are suffering as a result of other people's pollution. It is right that polluters pay, and in this case, that the G20 countries, including Canada. But the Maldives also has its part to play. if our country is to survive this century. We cannot just blame other people in faraway lands for all our problems. We have to set an example that we would like others to follow. That is why the Maldives has one of the world's most aggressive greenhouse gas reduction targets, net zero by 2030. And why, since I became the Minister for Environment, also part of my portfolio is energy. I have prioritized an aggressive policy on renewable energy, which has seen solar power now make up about 7% of our peak electricity demand. Over the next few years and months, I intend to ramp up this as quickly as possible, deploying new technologies such as battery storage, floating solar farms moored in our lagoons. We have also moved swiftly to protect our coral reefs from overfishing and the damage caused by construction and land reclamation as well. We are a country that fishes one by one, which makes our fishing industry one of the most sustainable fishing in the world. Today, 13% of our coral reefs enjoy protected status, and we have given protection to the main biodiversity hotspots in each of our atolls. But my president, Ibrahim Mohamed Solih, has gone further. He has declared that at least 20% of the Maldivian waters will be fully protected by 2030. This will be the Maldives' contribution to the laudable goal of 30 by 30, which I fully support. We are working closely with the Waits Institute to develop a marine spatial plan, which will advise us on the best areas to protect. This marine spatial plan is being conducted in a very participatory way, which all stakeholders, including the consultation, so we get broad support to buy in. Using science and public consultations, this has been one of the most extensive science-based research work done in the Maldives to protect our oceans. Our challenge that we do face, however, I hope to find solutions during this summit, is how we can effectively enforce the 20% of ocean that we want to protect. No matter how much we protect in the Maldives, it may not necessarily be effective unless we are able to extend this protection in the international waters as well. We already have a lot of these marine protected areas in the Maldives. And while some are really well managed, many only enjoy protection on paper. Our country is vast, and our Coast Guard can only monitor a small part of it at any time. The government simply does not have the resources to police huge areas of our ocean and our vast coral reefs as well. So I'm interested to learn about what new technologies we can use or what policies we can put in place to tackle this issue and to ensure that 20% of the ocean we protect is more than just a paper park. The Maldives is also one of the world's biggest shark sanctuaries. We protected our sharks 10 years ago. Catching, killing, landing, selling, or exporting any kind of shark product is completely banned across the whole country. And you know, the Maldives is also a very young democracy. Only a few years ago, we were a dictatorship. And people used to joke that sharks had more rights than the people. Well, I'm happy to report that now we have a healthy multi-party democracy as well. And both the sharks and the humans enjoy full protected status. One of the policies that I'm very proud of since I've become a minister is the implementation of the world's most comprehensive ban on single-use plastics. This includes a total ban on a wide range of products, from plastic bags to beverage bottles and beyond, including production of these single-use plastics have been banned in the Maldives. Implementing such policies is, however, not at all easy. And there's always resistance. There are always vested interests and people who do not like change. But we have to act because responsibility starts at home. As a country, we cannot call for other nations to cut their carbon emissions or to ban single-use plastics or to protect their marine areas if our house is not in order. Let me also conclude with a personal story. I came to Vancouver 20 years ago. I was just 17, and I can see my first marine science teacher sitting here today. After 30 hours of travel, I got to the campus at the tip of Vancouver Island, Pearson College. And I heard the sound of waves, which was so familiar to me. I immediately wanted to know where the beach was. And I asked some others on Pearson campus where the beach was. And they all laughed because there was no beach with waves crashing nearby. Much later, I realized what I heard was not the sound of waves, but the sound of trees. And that memory has never faded. What connects me to British Columbia with the ocean and the environment led me on a career path to conserve these very beautiful ecosystems. Thank you for the work everyone here does to pass on our planet safely to our children and to our future generations. Thank you.